Welcome back to Maul Paints. This is going to be the third out of the 4 episodes that I talked about in my earlier videos for the seasonal paintings for Lacrimosa. But seeing as it's the first of the Earth New Year, I wanted to have a little toast. I have some blue milk. So Happy New Year to you Earth dwellers. Okay, so enough of that. Anyway, what I'm going to do is a little different because I've got the black gesso on the canvas, but I don't actually have anything on the top of the canvas, so this is going to be kind of a lighter background. So on the canvas here I've got white, going to yellow in different shades, kind of getting darker and darker. I'm using new colors, so I actually don't know what the colors are called, but let's just dive right in. So I'm going to start with just titanium white. Just gonna start kind of we'll just make the light area right here in the middle. We'll just kind of use a little bit more here. It's kind of like the center area is gonna be where the sun's at. So now we'll just kind of start taking the yellows, making them a little darker as we move out away from the light source. Make this one down, something like that. Like I said in the past, if you haven't seen the last couple videos, this is kind of a deep woodsy scene, so it's not really going to be a whole heck of a lot going on in the background. It's going to be just a lot of dark imagination type trees going on. So give you that darker color. Mix those up a little bit. Said all these little dark areas are actually going to be kind of like the indications of distant trees way out in the background. A darker color, kind of getting a little darker as we go further out. Maybe we'll get into, it's almost kind of like a peachish flesh color. And once we blend all this together, it'll kind of change everything. Take this and just kind of make it. Now, once we got this going, this is a lighter scene. I think we're going to use a lot more trees in this painting, but it's going to be more of like a summer scene. So, okay, I think that'll be pretty good. Why don't we add just a touch more of this yellow kind of down, kind of coming down like that. Okay, now it's going to take a plain dry 2-inch brush, and we're just going to kind of lift gently just to kind of blend this out a little bit. Maybe we'll add a little more color to this. Kind of, not gonna lie, it's kind of boring. So maybe we'll add a couple little more light sources in there. Maybe something like that. Just here and there. Just take that yellow. Maybe something simple. I don't know. Kind of got a little more on there than I wanted to, but I think it'll be okay. We'll fix it. Because we don't make accidents, we make... Excuse me. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going to quote Darth Ross by saying, we don't make accidents, we make... I don't know, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Alright. Take just a bunch of white, really make totally ruining this. I don't know where all this white came from, but you know what, I think this will be fine. Alright, you know what, I can work with this. We don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents. Okay, that is quoting the great Darth Ross, by the way. Now we'll kind of blend this a little bit. You notice that beginning was just a little bit boring, you know, so I said this background is just more so just to make it seem like distant trees and stuff way in the background, so, you know, no big deal. Alright, now I do want to take just straight white on another fan brush here and really make this light source pop. Maybe something like that. Take this, and then straight up. Sideways, kind of give it a little bit of change to it. Now, using odorless paint thinner, we're going to beat the sith out of it. Dip that in. Kind of dry that off. There's not that much on. Shake off the excess and beat the sith out of it. It's the best part of the entire episode. Okay. Now, kind of got a lot of work to do on this one, so I think what I'm going to start with is I actually want to start with kind of take a whatever size brush you want, and I want to make kind of a dark green grass line here, and then we'll kind of lighten it up with a lighter yellow. So we're just going right into some sap green. Just really tap that in there, and then we're just gonna just gently tapping in some grass. Maybe right across the bottom here. It doesn't have to be, you know, whatever. Just do whatever you want to do. But I think since clearly there's a light source here now too, but I think what I'm going to do kind of is make the grass kind of lighter coming down, but once we get the trees and stuff in, it'll all make sense. So, but for now, we're just going to kind of get some patches of grass in here. Just something simple. So once we have the highlights on, it's going to change the entire painting. sometimes when you're this close to your painting, you can't really see what you're doing, so take a step back. Alright, figure it out. Okay. Now, I want to make some trees here, so what I'm going to do is just kind of go into straight lamp black and a touch of the brown, so it's just a really, really dark color. Just really load the brush up, and then we're just going to make some trees straight down, something just like that. Just wherever you want, you can make as many or as few as you want. And the further down the tree comes, the closer it's going to be towards you, or at least that's what it's going to appear to do. Another one right here. Maybe this one. Maybe we'll have one way over here. Maybe this one kind of squiggles back and forth. You got to think like a tree. I don't know what that means, but maybe a couple of these come right down off the canvas. Just like that. Maybe another one, just like that. Just have a couple little bushes out here in the distance. Simple. Just by giving a little tap, and the less paint you have on the brush, it's going to seem like stuff is further away too. So, maybe there'll be one here, but it just seems like it's way far back there because there's not that much paint on the brush. Yeah, something simple, just like that. We'll leave this side out, so. And kind of by tapping straight down with the brush here, it makes it seem like there's actually bark on the side of the tree, because if you just kind of, like if I just, that doesn't actually look half bad, but you know what, I'm just gonna, you get what I'm saying, okay? Enough. Sitting here trying to help. Actually, this looks kind of cool, but I'm gonna change it anyway. How it actually looks like bark and stuff is coming off the side of the trees. We have one that kind of comes down like that. And how about one? Maybe one will just come right down off the canvas here. And actually the coolest reason that I like making the trees come off the bottom of the canvas is that way I don't have to do any work on the bottom of the tree to make it look like there's a stump or anything. Let's see, I don't want this to look too uniform or anything since we're out in the woods, who knows, maybe, you know what, maybe there's one right next to this one here. Almost touching, but it'll be right behind it. Maybe one right here, just next to that one. Just comes straight down. And we just add a couple little bushes right here in the background. It actually kind of looks like ghouls coming out of the background, which is cool. So then we'll just add kind of a couple little background trees here. Just something just like that. I don't want to cover up all that light though, even though you should. Because light is stupid. Okay, let me take a step back. Okay, now I put all that grass in the background there, but I think what I'm going to start with, I'm going to start by highlighting the trees. So maybe in this one, I didn't put any evergreens in this one, but I think it'll be okay. Let me start by just taking the knife. I just use this regular old knife here, and we're going to use almost kind of a purplish color to kind of accent the dark side of the trees. And just like I said in the last couple of videos, if the light's kind of coming in from the middle here, I'm going to make the left side of these trees be darker and the right side of these being darker. So we'll just dive right in and see what happens. You can always change it. So this one's probably going to be the darkest because it's closest to the light source. I don't know, maybe something like that. It's going to be kind of further back, so I'll do a couple of these and I'll take a step back, kind of see how it looks, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so gotta use a bunch of this. So what I'm going to do actually is just kind of show you what I'm doing. This will be my shadow side here, and then just taking the white, just kind of changing it. Will be the exact color, but just a lighter version of it. We use just a touch more of that white. So now we have our light side and dark side. Okay, so I'll just do this first tree here just to give you kind of a show of what it's actually going to look like when it's all done. Something like that, you know, kind of that little bit of light where you think the light's going to be reflecting off the tree, and then you get the other side's going to be dark. So we'll just keep going with the dark side here. All right. So once I think once I put that, once I highlight the grass up, it's going to make it a lot lighter of a color. So, because right now this kind of looks swampy and Dagobah-ish. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now. Okay. I was running out of color, but it'll be all right. Some way in the back there. Okay, now I think what we'll do, start with the light side of these, is kind of a touch. This light's going to show up so much brighter, so just got to be kind of careful how much you use here because it'll cover up the entire tree. Something like that. I'm actually just even using just the touch of the knife. You don't even have to rub anything. Just by grabbing just a tiny little roll and just touching, just touch. Just gives it that little light appearance, and that's what we're looking for. Now, yeah, we're looking all right. A little bit lower in this one, maybe it gets closer to the ground over here. Something just that simple, just a little touch. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing, but the opposite to this side. Try to tell yourself little stories while you're painting these. Sometimes it makes it a little easier, you know. Maybe in this forest here, we have a little Jedi hiding. Excuse me. Trying not to say the J word in this house anymore. It's little people hiding in the bushes just waiting to come out and try to cut your legs off, but we're going to stop them. Okay. Take a step back. Now let's make some, kind of highlight it up with some grass here. Because it's kind of a lot darker painting than I thought it was going to be. Trying to make this more of a summer theme. So, let's see. Now, I'm actually just going to take kind of this yellow here, mix it together with this green, a lot more yellow than green because I really want it to kind of be bright. And we'll just kind of take a couple. There we go. So that looks good. We're just gonna kind of make little patches of grass here coming down, and then once this is done, we'll play around with the trees to see where they actually land at. Make this spot really light. Maybe add a little bit of white to that. There we go. Maybe, yeah, we'll just keep sticking to the same kind of colors here. And then over here, just kind of little plains, wherever you think grass might be. Now, all we got to do is kind of change where these trees are going to be, because if you notice, it looks kind of like they're all the same. So let's kind of take this dark color and maybe just bring them down just a little bit further, and then we'll change up the colors and be good to go. I don't remember which one I said came way off the bottom, but we'll figure it out. Okay, back to our light color. Just come down a little more. Okay, now what we'll just kind of add a little touch to the bottom of these trees here, just to kind of flare them out a little bit. Give them little tree trunks. Once we got the tree trunks on the bottom, let's kind of cover them up with just a touch of the green. Make it seem like there's a little bit of grass on top. And we go, I'll clean off this brush here. Use an odorless thinner. This one isn't as fun to beat up, so I'm just going to go right into some. Maybe go a little bit of white, kind of combine them here. Just like little touches of grass over top of all these little tree trunks. Over here, I got some kind of darker stuff going on. Now, what I'm going to do is kind of fluff up these little bases kind of lift those dark areas where it looks like there's bushes. It's just really going to kind of add the illusion of kind of trees and bushes way in the background there. Let me take a step back. And I think this is just about done, so hopefully you like this one. Remember, we're here at Maul Paints with the hateful 3 of you. See you next time.